Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Shots do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Booty.
Because there was no Jay White site.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly. Let's start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review Entertainment. Today, I have the privilege of talking to you about my movie, the movie that I picked, the Will Smith movie that I picked, and that is none other than Ali. Very powerful movie, very interesting movie, and I'm shocked that it came out over 20 years ago already. So join us as we talk Ali.
So what? I ain't got to be what nobody else want me to be, and I ain't afraid to be what I want to be.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. Ah! You can go to Alabama, you can go to Sweden. Everybody knows that I am the champ. All the ladies out there, they know.
Let's tell it like it is.
We're going from the darkness to the light. You want to send me to jail? Fine, you go right ahead.
That boy even dream he whooped me, he better wake up and apologize.
Wow, amazing. All right, ladies and germs, and today joining me is none other than the rest of the No Ma'am crew. That is none other than Mr. Mike Knox. Oh, wait, let me take my sting off. Mike Knox and the executive consultant. What's going on, fellas?
Excited. I like this pick, Vic. I'm wondering, honestly, has him down there watched this before? And what did he really think? Because he kind of be indifferent on these kind of movies. So I'm curious to really hear what the executive consultant had to say. Good morning.
What are you, Bernie Mac? I mean, him down there, him downstairs,
Oh, you're underneath me on the screen, sir.
Yes, pause. Now look, here's my problem.
On the screen.
Here's my problem. I haven't seen this movie before, right? And the reason I haven't seen this movie before is because I've been quite
26 minutes long.
Well, that's to come. But the reason why I haven't seen this movie is I've said this, I've verbalized this plenty of times. I'm not a fan of documentaries. I don't like documentaries. Not that I don't respect it. I respect documentaries.
But it's not a documentary, though.
Yeah.
It's not. The documentary would be the Ali thing that came on, like you can go watch on HBO.
It's a movie about someone's life. Okay.
It's a biopic, but it's called a biopic.
That's beautiful. Documentary. So here's my problem, right? I don't want to see documentaries. You know, I remember one time one of my best friends, may he rest in peace, took me out to see the movie Ray. Right? I didn't want to see it. He would drag me out. He used to do that to me all the time. Drag me out to see this movie, kicking and screaming, because I don't like seeing movies. I just don't want to see. And surprisingly enough, I loved Ray. Okay. Right? What? So when I saw it, I was surprised. So I saw Ali. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this a chance. Took out this device right here. Ali. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Vic, we're going to have a conversation in a few minutes.
Well, clearly you already seen, but this movie was quite interesting because a lot of the stuff that went on in this movie was stuff that was part of Muhammad Ali's life. However, nobody ever dived into it like this. And what I'm talking about was his entire situation with Vietnam. Right? So, because everybody knows that, you know, his license was taken away for a few years because he didn't want to go fight the cons. and that was a huge thing at the time, right? So now for those that I mean, I don't remember because I wasn't born around that time, but for those that do remember and you have conversations with, like, you know, you can hear vividly how people felt about that, how important it was. Now, you know, look, right now we all talk about Donald Trump being a Dodger and all this other stuff of the draft. And some people even say that about Muhammad Ali. But then Muhammad Ali was like, hey, no Viet Cong ever called me a nigga. So, you know, this whole situation was quite interesting. Because, you know, I think most people have respect for Muhammad Ali for many reasons, not just for being a heavyweight champion, but also for basically being a civil rights leader. You know, so there's a lot of interviews, there's a lot of things that that Muhammad Ali was pretty much just preaching. And the thing is just that I don't think that there's ever been another boxer or even sports person outside of maybe Colin Kaepernick that, you know,
Jim
had
Brown?
this. Well, yeah, true that. But I mean, like since then, because they were pretty much there at the same time. Mind you, Jim Brown was in this movie. You know what I mean? And you know,
we
he
reviewed
was
the One Night in Miami. That was
yeah.
in this part of the movie.
That was I know, but my point is just since that time, there
Mm-hmm.
hasn't necessarily been somebody that was pretty much just standing up for civil rights, not just his own, but everybody else's like that. You know, nobody really aligned themselves with somebody like a Malcolm X and things like that. So the time was totally different. The circumstances were very different. And I found this movie to be very, very interesting because prior to this, you know, the story of Muhammad Ali was, for the most part, just the boxing, you know, and the boxing clearly was a very big part of this movie, but everything else was pretty interesting. I mean, and also like to see Jada Pinkett play Will Smith's first wife. I thought that was interesting.
Or Muhammad Ali's first wife.
Right.
Like, I felt
It's
like
almost August though, so that's all right.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, especially after everything that has happened. So just seeing that, I thought that was quite interesting, seeing the dynamic together, and then just seeing the other women that Muhammad Ali had, which is something that you that was easy to forget. You know, that part of his life, I totally forgot. And mind you, they brought everything into it, all the scandal, all the craziness, and even Don King was in this movie, and I forgot all about Don King and Muhammad Ali, and I forgot about their animosity and all of that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you think about Don King, you think about Mike Tyson. So
you got a very current verb. That's your age group though. So, but you got to think outside the box. Like, of course, Tyson, but before Tyson, he had every boxer.
well, no, yeah, that's true. It's just that, like, you know, there's certain people that just stand out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like from now on, Roman Reigns will always stand out with Paul Heyman. But there was a time where, you know, CM Punk.
It's always a wrestling
Like
reference.
You know what I mean? Like, or Brock Lesnar. You know what I'm saying? So like, so you know that's the thing. Like, and then to see Don King, you know, with dark hair instead of like his white locks was just interesting to me. I mean, mind you, I haven't seen this movie since it came out, and when it came out, it was pretty powerful because you know, I think that Muhammad Ali was very proud to see Will Smith in this role. I think that he famously said to Will Smith that he's the greatest now, you know, after this movie, because you know, I mean, I don't know the numbers and all of that and how well it did at the box office.
Well,
and all
I got
of that.
you. You know, that's what I bring up. So,
Yeah, but
Remember years ago when I used to do that? Every episode, yeah.
Well, you know, I just think Vic, you know, sometimes you will go back and you will pick a movie that I'll be like, damn, right? Or damn, right? I'll personally think you pick okay movies minus Parasite. Worst thing you ever picked. Okay. Worst movie you ever had to pick. And I don't know how I won an Oscar. But this movie flopped technically at the box office. 107 million to make the movie, only made 87 million back.
Wow.
Even fans barely have it rated as high as on the list with critics. Rotten Tomato scores are only at a 68. But I think this is one of those gems that in 2001, watching this movie, I always had I have a sense of when it comes to sports athletes, where if I didn't live in that era, then I can't really judge how great that person was. So a lot of people who bring it a little bit current don't respect Jordan. I can't be mad when they've never seen Jordan. That was my always thing when it came to Muhammad Ali.
That's true.
So when this movie came out, I was not, more than, Will's playing Muhammad Ali. And to your quote you made about Muhammad Ali being proud of him, I read and listened to Will Smith's book, and he talks about playing this role and how Muhammad Ali told him at first, "You're not pretty enough to play me." You know what I mean? And then, but he did give him that final stamp of approval to go play this role. I mean, yet again, as we did last week, Enemy of the State, Angelina Jolie's father's in that movie. John Voight's in this one as well, playing Hardcore Cell. Will Smith. Jamie Foxx is just phenomenal as Drew in this movie.
Facts.
Hands down, just his job. He's better than Flavor Flav. He is the greatest hype man ever. That man's job was just to say, "You're great. You know you're great." Oh, come on, Muhammad, what you doing? Jamie Foxx played this role. And then it makes me think in watching this movie and how great Will Smith played this role. I don't believe we give Will Smith enough credit for the range of an actor that he is. I am forever quoted for saying how much I really love Tom Cruise. But Tom don't have no levels to him. He just has big movies that I happen to like that he's playing the roles in. Right? You seen one Tom Cruise movie, you kind of seen them all as far as the performance is concerned, at least from the leaving the early days of Do the Right Thing and, Cold Trickle, aka Days of Thunders, those kind of movies, and Glory, those kind of things. I mean, I'm Born on the 4th of July. But Will Smith doesn't get enough credit. And this movie was just a knock in the park to me. When it first came out, did not like it. Watched the Muhammad Ali documentary, because this is a biopic. And I tell you why it's a biopic versus a documentary, but you're going to, today's world, y'all make anything you want to be what it is. So it's no longer a number sign, it's a hashtag forever and a day now. So y'all can change what y'all want to change. But the fact of the matter is the documentary about Muhammad Ali is brilliant. And that made me become a fan. I say last week on the show, getting ready for this show, Muhammad Ali is not the greatest of all time because of how great he boxed. It's all the things you saw in this movie. And Vic, that's why I commend you on this. Him being around Brother Malcolm, him being around Dr. Martin Luther King, right? Him being able to be in these positions and he didn't refuse himself to the army. The army did that. They purposely, the U.S. government purposely did not call that man by his changed name to Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I always wondered, was it officially changed or was he just saying, call me? But if it was officially changed, which I believe it was, okay, to Muhammad Ali, the U.S. government, they said, when he walked in the courtroom, he says, all you got to do is, accept what it is. He was ready to step up. Everybody stepping up, Army, Navy. He called it. He says, Cassius Clay. And he doesn't move. He says, Cassius Clay. And he did. You saw it in his face, like, just say Muhammad Ali. He'd have took the step forward. He'd have probably done this thing. But like you said, he never fought no Viet Congs. They're not the ones. This time period of Muhammad Ali is just brilliant. And I don't think anybody else could have probably played this role. And I've seen other people play the role of Muhammad Ali in multiple different TV shows. There's a TV show coming out soon on on Amazon Prime, being directed by Michael B. Jordan, where it's an Ali series that's about to drop later this year. So this movie, though, to me, fans, we got it wrong years ago. Critics, I know what y'all voted today. Y'all trying to hype it because it is greatly acted. He was nominated for an Academy Award in this movie and just phenomenal. Executive consultant.
I want to offer an apology. Vic, I apologize. I gave you incorrect information, and that is something that's unlike me. So I have to acknowledge that on air, and I have to apologize to you. I said this movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes. This movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, sir. 2 hours and 45 minutes of my life. I had to give up my day to watch this movie so we can make sure that we got this movie out to you fans, you incredible fans. That's all for another apology. I can be a little bit set in my ways. And what I mean by I can be a little bit set in my ways is I don't
bring your work home?
like movies, and I don't particularly like particular individuals who are not of my time period. Let me clarify that, right? I don't like seeing movies that happened before the 80s. I don't like listening to music that happened before the 80s. I don't like sports figures that happened before the 80s because my mental state does not recollect that anything happened that way before me. I was never good at history because I don't give a crap about history most of the time. I like knowing it, but I don't like paying attention to it.
You're the walking encyclopedia for like wrestling stuff.
But if you notice, I don't ever really mention the 70s or the 60s. I only really talk about the mid to late 80s, right? Because that's my brain.
Never mention Bruno Sammartino or
I'd never mention Bruno Sammartino because my brain recollects that Hulk Hogan was the first WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm well aware that there were champions before that, but Hulk Hogan is the first WWE champion. Right? The Pittsburgh Steelers were the first Super Bowl champions because that's who my brain recollects. Right? So when I grew up, my greatest of all time is absolutely Mike Tyson. I believe that most GOATs are Mike, and Mike. The one that's the least important GOAT is the one that's on the show, right? So Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Michael Jordan are all my GOATs. However, that takes away nothing from LeBron James, even though I don't consider him a GOAT, but that takes away nothing from LeBron James. That takes nothing away from Prince because people want to give people Prince, but Michael Jackson is better than Prince to me. I'm sorry, he just is, right? And Mike Tyson's better than Muhammad Ali, but at the same time, there are a few exceptions to the rules in my case. Everybody knows how big of a fan I am of one Bond, James Bond. First movie came out in 1961. I love Dr. No, right? I say all that to say, shout out to Ron, because he says that. I say all that to say that I've always been an admirer of Muhammad Ali, even when I was a little kid, and he was no longer boxing. Why? Because I've seen his work, and I was always very impressed with it. And two, what I believe that I am, right, as opposed to the GOAT up there, and I'm only saying that because I mentioned you earlier, Mike, is I'm more of a character, and I'm more charismatic. Right? And one of the reasons why I am charismatic is because of two individuals. One is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and two is because Muhammad Ali. If you look at UPR Shorts, Steve and I had a conversation because Muhammad Ali was inducted to WWE Hall of Fame. And I said, without Muhammad Ali, a lot of these characters that you see in WWE, even though it was not the same thing, I guarantee would not be around because of the way Muhammad Ali speaks. And one thing I will say about Will Smith, he was able to deliver those lines. If I actually paid attention and took the time, I would have gave you almost all of them in the quotables. But there's so many that I can't even say. He is that good. He was that good. Malcolm X was very good. The person who played him, I can't remember his name right now. Forgive me. Actually, I thought this movie, once again, just like I said last week, was very
Mario Van Peebles.
Mario Van Peebles. Thank you. It was very, very well casted, and this movie was very impactful and very, very powerful. So for Vic, to you, not only do you get that apology because you gave me a longer movie than I said, but it was not as horrible as I thought it was going to be.
Said not as horrible. Juan Gino Carlo Esposito's in this movie. LeVar Burton's in this movie. Naona Gay's in this movie. That Jada, whatever, we're not going to mention her. Papa Pope, Joe Morton's in this movie. This movie, Ron Silver playing, and this movie is just full of a cast. And Mario Van Peebles playing Malcolm, and I don't think he played a bad job at all. But I was just watching. We what we do.
No, he took them gunshots well.
He's probably my least favorite of the Malcolms. I think my guy who played him on Godfather of Harlem plays him really great. Of course, Denzel Washington. That's just goated as Malcolm. But my second one's the one who played him in One Night in Miami, which y'all know now. He also played Bart Marley, and he's also on Secret Wars. You see what he's become now. But this movie, back to you, Vic.
Well, shout out to Curious George, because that's who Muhammad Ali pretty much just followed, because Muhammad Ali was a big wrestling fan. and he got a lot of his
Curious George or Gorgeous George?
Gorgeous George, excuse me.
So it wasn't. So apparently, I'm not the only one that doesn't pay attention to the 70s. I was wondering where you were going. Is there roadmap with you?
I was definitely lost, but that was
my bad. Gorgeous George. Yeah, because Muhammad Ali used to praise him all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of his bravado pretty much came from watching the Gorgeous George. So I find that interesting how it all just comes around. And mind you, look, Mike Tyson is in wrestling, Floyd Mayweather is in wrestling. I just find that interesting.
Yes, he will be in
Floyd's
already a Hall of Famer. They already
not a WWE Hall of Famer.
Oh, WWE. I'm sorry.
He should, and he should be a WWE.
He should, definitely.
If he shows up for Swerve one more time. Well, no, Triple H's on hold grudges.
So AEW Dynamite, he said, "Hey, you ready to be on the real show?"
Yeah.
And besides, no one saw it.
But this Muhammad Ali is a very important figure.
Absolutely.
In American history. And I think that this movie portrays a part of his life that a lot of people don't necessarily see or hear about. That's the main reason why I personally like this movie and I give it a thumbs up, because I learned quite a bit at that time.
I love my man to death. I really do. And I'm going to get you the best gift ever when I come up there. But my man, we have been doing this for like 18,000 years. How could you not know what's next? I'm gonna cut that, what you just said, right? And you're going to take us to a commercial break, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Count down for 5. Count down. Yeah. You know what? He's still better, because when we used to do this, he used to give the thumbs up at the beginning of the show. See, he used to be so bad. All right, go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, come back and talk with us, because we're about to pay some bills and check out these commercials.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts.
I know what you really are.
How does he do it? You want the truth?
Nothing is impossible.
Abracadabra.
No more secrets.
Secrets of my life.
What happened?
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
We'll take it from here.
Who the hell are you?
INS Division 6.
There is no Division 6.
We are the men in black.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
Series 4 deatomizer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Noisy cricket.
I feel like I'm gonna break this damn thing.
Oh, it gets better. Dad, we have a bug.
Men in black, protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back and joining us. We're still talking about Ali, one of the greatest movies that Will Smith has ever done, in my opinion. But I unfortunately didn't get any quotables, because there was quite a few. I don't know if you guys got any. No, nobody got any quotables.
No, and we'll do better for that with y'all, ladies and gentlemen, because this movie definitely has a lot of quotables in there. I said it earlier with Muhammad Ali. I mean, the man. I will shout out the one where he was doing the little kid thing where he was punching. He was like, "Hey, 6 seconds, and I'm gonna hit you 3 times," or something like that. It might have been vice versa. He said, "Did I hit you? Did I hurt you?" That was great. I loved it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm getting it ready now. One of the ones that I actually did like, and I don't really type them on the screen, nothing like that, but this one, because I thought Quiet as Cat, one of the best parts of the movie was Jamie Foxx. So he says, "Free ain't easy, free is real. and I'm a real motherfucker. He says, he still takes me. He likes me for who I am. He knows I like pork. He knows I like white women. And I can give up the pork, but the white women. This is like this Muhammad Ali. Like I said, the documentary, if you get a chance to actually go see it, that turned my mind around of Muhammad Ali is What's My Name? Okay, and you get a chance to watch that. And that really goes into in depth about his story and more about him and things like this. This is a movie. It's supposed to be made to be somewhat entertaining to you. So a lot of things were left out, including I wanted to bring this up. The things that people, when they make movies, documentaries, biopic pics, however you want to categorize it, as your black figures, a lot of people get mad, right? A lot of controversies yet to even come with the Michael Jackson biopic set to come out. Like, what's going to be in it? It's what's true. We don't know this. There's so many innuendos. So I thought they actually did this one very respectful in Ali's way, because you finally get the one line when the second wife says, I've dealt with the others, but you have to throw this one in my face. And he says, I respect you. I will always respect you. And then he find out, he ends up with Layla Ali's mother later on down the line as his three wives that he's had through his career. But to me, I thought it stood out that first wife, no, she wouldn't be a Muslim. Second wife, which the one that had most of his children, she doubted him. That's what happened there. And each time, I'm not saying that's a good reason to leave, right? And I say this, and it's not to make fun of men in general, black men or not just men. And I just learned this as an adult. To a lot of people, sex is just sex. It don't mean nothing to people. It's what they do with you and how they care for you and things like that. So I just think through all the messiness of his life, they did this movie very, very good for him, and portraying his life and take you through the good, the bad, and even some of the ugly, because he regrets what happened to Brother Malcolm and how that happened. And I understood him. He told Brother Hibbert exactly how he felt. Y'all left me. You wasn't here for me, and I was broke. Y'all used me. I ain't never stopped being a Muslim, but go give me my $5 million. She gets mad at that, right? She's mad because she's like, yo, I told him off. I feel what you feel. I understand, but I need them. And another line he says in this movie, he said, you think you can pull this photo off? She got mad. You don't need them. You don't need them. He says, listen, I need the white people to do white things. I need these niggers to do nigger things. I need this to happen. This movie was just, for me, and I know I just did a Vic here and jumped the gun here, but for me, it's definitely a thumbs up. I think it's definitely one of Will Smith's best movies, and I don't think there's many bad Will Smith movies that I've come across other than Wild Wild West. And hell, at this point, I'm ready to watch it again. No, I've done this. I watched it twice. That's a terrible movie. But other than that, I think Will does a very good job. Thumbs up for me on that one, Vic.
I found a quotable.
All right.
I found a quotable. I ain't draft dodging. I ain't burning no flag. I ain't running to Canada. I'm staying right here. You'll send me to jail. Fine. You go right ahead. I've been in jail for 400 years. I could be there for 4 or 5 more, but I ain't going no 10,000 miles to help murder and kill other poor people. And the second one, Don King talks black, lives white, and thinks green. How accurate is that? Yeah, I mean, hey man, the guy was just amazing with his words. I like to go back and watch back some Muhammad Ali interviews sometimes on YouTube, and mind you, amazing stuff. So I already said how good I thought this movie was, gave you some quotables and everything. So I think it's a thumbs up all around. Am I wrong?
There was a scene in this movie where Ali is talking to, I believe, was going to later be his second wife, right? And I'm
Gay's character.
There's no disrespect when I say this. I want to preface by saying this, and I hope people understand what I'm saying this. I wish this was Tuesday's episode, right? Because James on there will already know where I'm going. It's so funny, right? So he's talking to this woman who says, hey, I recognize you. You should know my name. You should recognize me. Why? Because I was there after you won your first world title. And I was 11 years old. Automatically, I cringed.
Yeah, pedophile. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he didn't say, "Oh, I was checking you out" or anything like that, he definitely did.
Second wife or his third wife?
I believe this was the second, but it could have been the third. Okay, because like I say, he had 4
was
wives.
Was just to read, but on the movie they only showed 3. So
yeah, they only show 3, and then they added the caption.
So you're talking about the last wife, or
I think this
the
is the second wife.
Okay, so you're talking about Belinda Ali. Okay.
And I was a little uncomfortable because you could tell that she was flirting with him. And I'm like, you just sat here and said that you met him when you were 11 years old, and he was like, "Oh, that was you. You grow, a little cringe."
I didn't see that the cringe there because by the time they're talking, she's a grown woman.
Yeah, but for her to reference it, I wouldn't even reference it.
But she referenced that he did.
I wouldn't even. But as a movie director.
Okay. I got you.
Right, I would not even reference that.
Well, that's the writers who put that in.
Yeah, whichever one, because it seems creepy to me, right? A little cringe. But I thought this movie was very well acted. I thought it was very well casted, all that aside. And I learned a lot about Ali that I possibly did not know or research like that. And I was intrigued, right? 2 hours and 45 minutes is 2 hours and 45 minutes.
The fuck out of here.
2 hours and 45 minutes that I went to sleep. All right, because here's me pulling back the curtains. Right, I had to watch 2 movies real quick because we were on a time crunch. Right, I fell asleep. I had to wake up, rewind, and then I ended up falling asleep again. I had to wake up, rewind, which set me off because this movie dragged so much. Right, was it entertaining? At times, yes. Was it good? Did it deliver a message? Yes. However, it dragged so much. It was boring. Overall, I could not be entertained. And overall, it gets a thumbs down for me.
I think it was very entertaining. I do see where they could have made this 2 hours and 26 minutes long. There were scenes like where he was about to, him and his second wife, Belinda was about to make love and the baby started crying and she went up to go get the baby. And for like 45 seconds, they just stared at the crib. And I'm watching it saying, okay, is this a metaphor for something? You know what I mean? Because maybe the carousel was a ring. Or I couldn't figure it out. So there were scenes like that. Like even but I think there were things that were important to him. Somewhere I think he had a lot of input on this movie, that Muhammad Ali. So I think a lot of things in Zaire were overstretched. But that was probably him trying to want you to feel that, or the director at that point also wanted you to feel his impact on what he had on Jamaica. But I definitely agree with you. It's a little bit too long, but very entertaining to me. The acting was so good, it made it entertaining. So you watch the Hunger Games, and them shits are all long, and you like all them confused. But
there's a lot more action going on in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
it is for sure.
Thanks for joining us. Till next time, we'll be doing more. Love y'all. Have a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular View.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Shots do that.
I don't want to sit too hard.
That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Dippy.
Because there was no Jay Whiteside.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been filtered. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.